Okay, guys, I was trying to take a nap just now, but nay, sleep is not for me. This message is for right now. It was get out of bed and record this right now type of situation. So this is coming through from higher dimensional Arcturian energy and higher dimensional Sirian energy. Both of them at once. The Arcturians with this violet ray type of vibe, and the Sirians with this blue ray type of vibe. And they're showing me this spiraling it together, blending together of the violet ray and the blue ray, making a kind of indigo offshoot, almost as if the indigo energy is an offshoot of the blending of the violet and the blue. And they want to talk about how you have established a deeper experience of inner clarity. And they want to be very clear on something here about how inner clarity, there are many different depths to that experience, where at some point in your life you will, maybe you have already experienced this, or maybe you are experiencing this right now. You're having your first ever experience of going, wow, I have finally established inner clarity. I feel clear in this way that I have never felt before, right? And it's like suddenly I understand what it means to feel clear. And I can see that now my whole life will be different because I'm operating from this place of inner clarity. It's as if you have cleaned the smudge off of your eyeglasses and you had never seen through your glasses without a smudge before. That being said, you will also continue to have that same experience, right? Perhaps you had your first experience of feeling inner clarity 10 years ago or yesterday, right? Now today, or 5 years from now, or 20 years from now, you will have further experiences of going, wow, I have established a new depth of inner clarity. I thought I had inner clarity before. This is true inner clarity. And they're showing me that this just keeps drilling down deeper. Until you can see everything that exists in all reality simultaneously with perfect clarity, as if everything is transparent and visible from all angles simultaneously. So, because the inner clarity comes first, you must look deep inside of yourself and discover these depths of inner clarity. And that then allows you to interface with the external reality with clarity, right? To be able to perceive outer clarity. Inner clarity coming first, outer clarity coming second. And that's the really cool part. The inner clarity is all important and really enjoyable and changes your experience of your life. And then outer clarity, being able to look outwards and see things with new eyes, changes your reality. It changes the reality that comes to you. It changes the reality that appears around you. It changes the way the reality appears around you. It changes the reflections, as you might say. Because you'll no longer be seeing the same kinds of ghosts and shadows that were cast by the smudges on your perception. King of Arrows with the hawk, right? This is a being, a creature who sees all with clarity from that bird's eye view. As much as I want to keep this candle here because it smells so good, I'm going to burn my cards if I do that. I can feel how warm that card was getting. Maybe I can just put it there. This three of cards, three of swords, three of arrows. Did you see how it was at the bottom of the deck and I pulled it out that way? The bottom of the deck in my reading is the energy that you're moving away from. This three of arrows is in the past. This three of arrows is in the past. Interesting actually that this three of arrows, it's subtexted here as jealousy, right? Not as, and this changes the nature of this three of swords, right? Because often the three of swords is that kind of heartbreak, right? The heartbreak. However, this almost feels like it's a little bit of a different message, and I don't want to really dwell on this. I don't really want to dwell on this. So how can I just say this as quickly as possible? Okay, they're quite specific about this actually. This is about, it's actually about letting go of excuses, okay? Letting go of excuses that you used to use to explain why you couldn't do things, right? And what does that have to do with jealousy? Think about, I'm sure we've all done this at some point in our lives, right? Say somebody says, oh, hey, I just did this thing. And then inside you immediately think, oh, I wish I could do that, but I can't do that because blah, 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 blah. And you have all these reasons about why you can't do that. And those reasons might be real and true and valid to a certain extent. Yes, right? However, sometimes we really cling to those reasons as an excuse about why we're not doing something, right? Maybe to justify the fact that we're not doing it. And again, I don't want to like dwell in this energy too much, but it's like that type of excuse making, right? That type of excuse making. Moving on from that. And I'm just going to actually like eject that from the reading because we don't need to dwell there. That's just kind of one of the little passing vibes, passing energies that I've seen kind of coming around. We're letting go of excuses. That's how I'm going to actually drill down that energy to the positive, is we're letting go of excuses that we used to stop us, right? You know, sometimes we talk about releasing our limiting beliefs, and this is more of kind of owning up to the fact that sometimes we're just making excuses, and now we're actually letting that shit go because you have established a deeper layer of inner clarity, so you don't need that stuff no more, right? You don't need it anymore. You can see it clearly, and what you see clearly, you just clean off, right? If it's a smudge. Eight of Stones, skill, because now you are replacing excuses with strength building. Okay, you are building yourself up. You are building up your skill. And this is so many levels to this, right? This is perhaps physically building up strength in your body. This could be, for some people, physically building up the strength of your immune system, right? Building up your fitness or your health in some way. This can be building up a skill. This can be doing something maybe that you used to do very poorly, but you stuck with it and you built up your skill at something, learning another language, learning to sew, learning to cook, learning to persevere in relationships as somebody's doing the dating game, right? Learning the skill of managing your finances and attracting and bringing in more wealth for yourself, whatever this is. You're building yourself up. You're building up this strength. You're building up this skill. And it's like something that you used to have an excuse about, right? Now you realized, oh, I don't need that excuse anymore because I've got to the point where I've just decided to build myself up, right? I'm building myself up. I'm building myself up with strength and with skill and with perseverance. And with this, I mean, and this is that thing about how we need to really get okay with being bad at things. We need to get okay with failure. We need to get okay with doing things poorly, because so often the thing that there's something we want to manifest, right? There's something we want to create. There's something we want to have in our lives, and because we don't have it. Why don't we have it? There's many reasons, right? But one potential reason, and that's the reason that is most relevant for this particular reading, so I'm going to focus on it. So this one reason is that we're just not really good at it, right? We're just not very good at it. We just haven't quite figured it out yet, right? Perhaps it's because of an injury, right? And that injury can be a physical injury or, like an energetic wound. It can be your Chiron placement. It can be, past life trauma. It could be childhood trauma, right? For whatever reason, maybe you're just literally not good at it because you've never built up that skill, right? It doesn't have to be based in a wound or an injury, but like whatever it is, there's something that you're not good at, right? Or that you weren't good at. And that's why you didn't have the thing that's connected with that, right? And it's easy to fall into excuse making but you're not doing that anymore, right? Those excuses have left the picture here, and you're building yourself up with skill. And again, that's why it's important to allow yourself to do things badly or to do things poorly, and to fail and to fail and to fail and to struggle and to fail and to just keep working at it, because that is how you build yourself up, right? That is how you build yourself up. And one day you realize that you're strong enough, right? And one day you realize that you have enough skill to do this. And you see yourself with clarity, you see your own skill and strengths with clarity, and you go, I'm doing this, right? I am doing this. Even if it took many failures, even if it took many years of hard work and practice and perseverance to get there, this is like, you know, it's happening. The Green Man, right? The Green Man. And this would be the Hierophant of the Emperor, which is card number 4. I think this is the Emperor. But anyway, it's the Green Man, right? Look at his alchemy going on here. Look at this cauldron. How, like, what spell, what potion, what brew is he cooking up here, right? Everything's gone down. He has his horn and his staff, and he is the Green Man. And I just think, what is brewing in this cauldron? Something that you have been brewing for a very long time. What have you been brewing, right? And the alchemical process. And think about whatever is brewing here. Think of brewing, like brewing beer, or think of cooking, or think of making a potion, right? Whatever is going on in this copper pot here needs to cook for a specific amount of time. And think about your own inner alchemy. Think about how your own inner alchemy and your own inner brewing has to take a certain amount of time, right? You can't cook a soup. You can't like flash cook a soup, right? You can't just like microwave your soup. I mean, I guess you could make soup in the microwave, but it would still actually take a long time, right? Because that water needs to boil and the potatoes need to cook and all that, right? Same thing, that's been going on inside of you. This is really pointing to this cauldron in my mind is your inner alchemy. And you have been brewing up something inside of you. Oh, and that even has to do with the indigo energy. The combination of the violet and the blue, right? The violet and the blue cooking up this indigo energy. We got why, buy the book, no place like home and community. That's like too many. I'm going to shuffle those back in. I feel like those are some of the scattered thoughts floating around. So if any of those things that I just said clicked, that might have meant something to someone. That's why I read those out. But we're just going to let those thoughts be whatever they are. Serendipity. This is a 4-leaf clover, right? A 4-leaf clover. This is a new experience of trusting that you are being moved through an experience. Have you ever had a day where you thought, how am I going to make it through this day? How do I navigate this day? Perhaps you're facing some kind of challenge or situation and you go, how would anyone even do this? How do you do this? And even though you're asking, how do I get through this situation? How do I navigate this? You know that you're kind of, you know that nobody has the answers, right? You know that there are no answers. And maybe it's really a situation where it's like nobody would know how to get through this, right? And the only thing you can do in that situation is to just allow like the minutes and the hours to just move you through the day. It's like the time itself is kind of moving you forward and just allowing yourself to be moved by the flow, right? It's really, really, really surrendering to the flow. Almost like, if you do any kind of improv, and I mean, even speech is improv, right? Even when you're having a conversation, that is like improvisational vocalization, right? So everybody improvises to a certain extent. Some people do it with music, some people do it with acting or dance, right? I mean, sex is improv. Everybody improvises to some extent, right? But if you have some kind of deliberate or conscious experience with improvisation, then this is going to resonate even more with you. Because, you know, when you're improvising or channeling, right, you're just surrendering completely to the flow. And you know that thinking about it, thinking what note you hit next, or thinking what move you're going to make next. I mean, you might have concepts and patterns kind of rolling around in the back of your mind a little bit, but you know that, right? You know that really overthinking it and really having a plan, that's not going to bring you the improvisational flow that you want. It's really a surrendering to just allowing it to move through you and allowing yourself to be moved by it, right? As the energy moves, so you move. I think there's a song, "When You Move, I Move." It's like that, right? As the energy moves, you are moved. And I'm, describing a specific practice of improvisation, because if you have that, or if you've ever done that, then you'll know what I mean a little bit more when I say you can allow your life to be improvisational. And in those moments or days or months, even when you're navigating some kind of life situation that is just like, there is no way to know how to move through this, you just allow yourself to be moved through it. And it's a little bit like, just like establishing that deeper experience of inner clarity. This is going to be like establishing the epiphany where you actually understand what it means to surrender, right? And this is one of those things where you have been hearing everyone, including yourself, perhaps, talk about surrender, and you've been trying to do it. Maybe you thought you were doing it. Maybe sometimes you knew you weren't doing it, but you were trying. And then one day you realize that you're actually doing it, and you go, whoa, now I know what it feels like to surrender. And maybe you already know what surrender feels like, and now you're experiencing it on a more macrocosmic level. Because it's like you've been learning about these things in microcosm, right? Perhaps you learned to surrender in one specific context of your life, right? In one specific way. You learned the art of surrender, or perhaps of submission even, in one specific area of your life. And that teaches you to be able to recognize what it feels like to surrender on a more macrocosmic scale. And that allows this type of serendipitous flowing of your life. And you're really going to get it this time. It's like, you're really getting it. You're really getting it. You're going to recognize it. You're going to know it. You're going to feel it. You're going to go, wow, it's actually happening. Right? I'm actually doing it. It's kind of like they're giving me this image of a kid riding a bicycle and like throwing up his hands and going like, hey, look, mom, no hands. Like, I'm riding with no hands. Right? It's that type of feeling. Like you're riding the bike of your life with no hands. My husband does that sometimes when he's driving in the car. He just says, Jesus, take the wheel. And he like puts his hands off the wheel. And the funny thing is, sometimes that car will stay in the lane for miles, okay, when he does this. And even when the road bends and turns, sometimes the car just keeps going. It's like, it's wild. It's absolutely wild to see that happen. The car just stay in the lane with nobody holding the steering wheel. But I mean, don't do that, right? Don't do that because I said to do that. That's just, life can be like that, right? When you take your hands off the steering wheel. Buy the book. So this energy was out in those cards that came up. And this is funny because this is like the opposite of the serendipity. So let me find out what's the deal with this. Buy the book, go the distance. Chaos and conflict. You know what this is about? It's surrender works better when it's not like abject surrender. Okay? Surrender works better when you're not all in on one paradigm. Okay? So this is, and again, like the blending of the violet and the blue, we have these multiple energies blending together here. And I feel like especially with this serendipity coming out with By the Book, we have here a balanced way of being, okay? A balanced way of being. Because you can be all in on the masculine paradigm of, hard work and effort and micromanagement and control. Then you can be all in on the feminine paradigm of surrender and flowing and passivity, right? And complacency, even, of allowing, and that can end up with life just happening to you, right? The sweet spot, and when it all starts to work out, is when you get to that magical alignment. And this, it's like, this is the secret. How do I explain this? Because I have been understanding this all of this year. This is actually the culmination of, like, I'm not kidding, like almost 2 years worth of getting myself to this point. I don't know what to call it. It's the magical alignment. It is the magical alignment. That's the only thing I know how to call it. It's when you have both paradigms of masculine and feminine. You're doing both, right? You're doing both. You're going with the flow, and you are putting in the work. You are surrendering to the divine timing, and you are also taking deliberate action to create what you want in the grounded physical world. You are doing the inner work, you are doing the energy work, you are doing the spiritual work, and you are doing the physical work. You are doing what needs to be done, right? You are dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and boots on the ground, actually running the race or lifting the boxes or doing the thing, right? You are being patient and waiting on the divine timing, and you are also creating the timing for yourself. You are trusting the miracle. You are trusting the miracle that is coming. You are opening up to receive. You are ready and available to receive. And you also know that you can create miracles for yourself, and you can create wins for yourself. And you know that you can't control really anything, but maybe you can get something to come to you quicker if you go to meet it, right? So you're not just waiting for it to get to you. You're also going out there to meet it, and then you're reaching out to receive it, right? It is working both paradigms, because before, perhaps you've been from one extreme to the other extreme, and now it is all coming together. And this is also about your inner reality and your outer reality, the external reality, actually aligning. And that is so much to do with the timing, right? Because, sometimes you can wait and wait and wait and wait and wait on the divine timing, and then the universe finally offers you something. But if you're not reaching out to grab it, if you're too complacent, if you're too passive, it might pass you by. And don't worry. I don't mean that you missed your chance, you missed your opportunity, because those are I know we all have experience in life that make us think that, right? Sometimes we think, oh, I messed it up. I missed my chance. I missed the boat. I missed the opportunity. I didn't jump on it. And now that my chance is gone. Those are thoughts that will only poison you, okay? Those are thoughts that will only poison you and only keep you down and only make you miss further opportunities. And you can spend years in that kind of regret, okay? And I don't know how to describe this. The depths to which I feel what I'm about to say, I don't know how to express that. So I'll just say it simply, I suppose. But I am here to show people that you do not need to keep living lives full of regret. You do not need to live your life full of regret. So those regretful thoughts that have to do with thinking that you missed your chance, just we could talk all day about how You've never really missed your chance. So that energy is just coming around for another orbit, and it's going to come back around, and next time you'll be ready, and next time it will align, right? Or it doesn't matter how many times you miss it. It doesn't matter how many times you let that energy pass you by. It's going to come back around because everything is cyclical, right? We can talk about that till I'm blue in the face. But I mean, even that doesn't even really matter, because all you need to know is that those regretful thoughts about how you think you made a mistake, and it'll eventually start to make sense. Eventually everything makes sense. Eventually you will see how everything all works out anyway, and how maybe it's even good that you didn't take that opportunity back then, because all of these reasons, right? But even that doesn't really matter. All you need to know is that those regretful thoughts are poison. They are poison. So just don't go there. Just don't rehearse those thoughts. Don't allow those thoughts to take you over, because they will poison you, right? That's the point here. It's like we can be very pragmatic about that. Regret is poison. Release it, right? So anyway, I was trying to talk about how, sometimes you wait and you wait and you wait, right? And sometimes that doesn't work out for you. That's the feminine paradigm of surrender and waiting on the divine timing. And that is all very well and good. But if you are 100% in that paradigm, at least in my experience, this is only my experience. Other people will have other experiences, because maybe you don't need to be 50-50. Maybe some people can 100% be in the feminine paradigm of surrender. Maybe some people can 100% be in the masculine paradigm of, active control. Maybe some people should be 50-50. Maybe some people are 60-40. Maybe some people are 75-25, right? Maybe there's a different blend of these energies for everyone, and maybe it's unique to everyone. So maybe looking at how somebody else manages their energy isn't going to work, because you need to figure out your own blend of these energies. And I would say the people who are 100% or 100%, probably rather rare, right? Most of us are probably somewhere in the middle ground, like a bell curve, right? That's how these things work. So for most of us, we're figuring out our blend of energies, because being 100% in that way of surrender, you can end up being too passive and too complacent, and then just like feeling like you missed out, right? And it will maybe not get you to where you want to go. And of course, being 2 in the masculine paradigm, just as bad. If you're 100% over there, then you're grasping and needy and controlling and micromanaging, and you will find that everything you try to create, you actually just end up destroying, and you can't get anything, because it's, the old, what is it? That old saying about you can't hold, like if you're holding water in your hand, you have to cup the water, right? You can't hold water in a fist. And also, if you're holding sand in your palm, right, the tighter you hold your grip, the more the sand slips through your fingers, right? You guys know those metaphors. It's like that, right? And being too grabby, you can't actually grab anything, right? So neither of these things work on their own. And you've probably had different experiences in your life of trying out one paradigm, trying out the other paradigm, and ended up being kind of frustrated and disillusioned with both of them. And so now it's all coming together, and this is when things get really magical. It's that magical alignment where you are doing what you need to do to create whatever it is that you want to create, right? You're doing the inner work and you're doing the outer work. You're doing the steps, you're doing the things, you're building yourself up, you're building your empire, you're doing whatever it is that you want to do, right? And you are also waiting for that perfect divine timing. And that there's this spot that you can be in when you're waiting for the alignment, right? Waiting for the alignment. Where your inner reality, you, right? You are ready. You've done everything. And the outer reality is maybe not quite ready. Or maybe they're both ready, but they're just out of sync, right? They're going like this. Like two people trying to find each other in Grand Central Station, running around. You're both there, you're both looking for each other, but how do you connect, right? How does one find the other? How do you build the bridge? How do you connect? And it's kind of going like this. And then finally, the magnets click. finally, it's like this magnetic clicking. Finally, imagine if the two sides here, your inner reality and the outer reality, are magnetic, right? And so they're swinging around, and finally when they get close enough, they click into place because it's magnetic. And now it is it's a new whole. You've just magnetized with your other half. For some people, this could even be a romantic connection, right? But it's like, really, it's about the inner reality and the outer reality clicking together, two pieces of the puzzle, magnetizing to each other. And this is really hard to articulate, but do you feel what I mean about this magical alignment that happens when inside of yourself you're working both angles, right? You're working both sides, and that allows for the greater reality to click into place, because from the the greater perspective, from the broader perspective, your inner reality and the external reality are trying to click into place as well. And it's a little bit of you doing it, you creating it, you putting it into place, and it's a little bit of waiting on the divine timing, waiting for the external reality to be ready, waiting for things to be just perfect, waiting for the brew to finish brewing, waiting for the alchemy to be done, and then boom, the synchronicity. And you will start, and you will know this, right? It's like your entire life is like falling in love. And I mean really falling in love, right? I think I used this analogy in in a moon video I made recently, but it's a good one. I got to use it here again, right? When you're falling in love and you're really, really falling in love, and there's no wondering, there's no insecurity. All there is just explosions of love and explosions of security and explosions of connection and explosions of intimacy and depth and trust and faith. And there's no hesitation, there's no doubt, there's no worry, there's no wondering, there's no confusion. There is only the clarity of true love, right? The clarity of true love. No wondering, no feeling weird, no wondering, did they love you as much as you love them? No wondering about what this is. It's like so obvious because it's just screaming at you from all levels of everything, right? It is the all-consuming synchronous landscape of true love. And I mean, I hope everyone experiences that with their romantic partner. Whether you have or not, there's a potential here for you to be experiencing that with your entire reality, right? And you'll know it and you'll be able to fall into it. And you might have moments where you feel like you're standing on the precipice, right? You're standing on the precipice. Just let yourself fall into it, right? Like falling in love, you actually have to fall into it. Don't hold yourself back from love because you're afraid to fall in love. You're falling into love, right? Not falling into a horrible pit. You're falling into love. So fall into this new landscape of love that is born of the magnetism of these two parts clicking together. And again, don't be worried if there's blips, right? Don't let the blips, don't let the static, don't let the interference, don't let anxious thoughts, don't let weird worries, don't let other people's random things, don't let a speed bump, don't let a flat tire, right? Don't let those moments of, where you feel like, don't let any of that concern you, right? Because these magical moments can still have little bits of human life in them, right? You're still in your human body. You're still in your human life. You're still on Earth. So the only little word of wisdom they have here for you is some of you might get overly distracted by little things that will just trip you up a little bit, and it's okay if you do, right? In fact, everybody might trip up a little bit, and that's okay. Then you can just get back into falling into it, right? It's all you have to do is fall. And falling's really easy, right? All you have to do is stop grabbing at stuff to stop yourself from falling. All you have to do is fall into it. And it's okay if you hesitate, and it's okay if you get a flat tire on your way there, and it's okay if you get freaked out a little bit and have a panic attack before you keep falling, right? All of that's okay. But none of that is actually necessary. So just be aware that if you get little bits of interference on your way to falling into it, don't be alarmed by any of that. It doesn't mean, it's like nothing has gone wrong, nothing has gone wrong, nothing has gone wrong, right? As you are going the distance, there will be some chaos and conflict, right? Maybe some obstacles, maybe some things you have to clear up and clean up, maybe some static or interference, right? No problem, no big deal. Go the distance, right? Go the distance, go the distance with this, whatever this is for you. Okay, they are satisfied. Maybe now I can continue my nap. So I'm going to leave you guys there, sending you so much love and light, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.